Hello everyone. So, as per the lab manual, yeah, okay. So this is your lab manual. So first one is virtual lab environment setup for cybersecurity. So here we will set up a hypervisor that which contains a virtual machine for your cybersecurity practices, and then we will install Kali Linux as a operating system, so which contains so many ethical hacking tools and defense tools. And then we will install extension pack for starting virtual machine hypervisor, then extension pack, and then Kali Linux. For VirtualBox, so here we will go to the browser Kali Linux. So we'll start downloading Kali Linux first. So we'll get into the Kali Linux here. So this is the link kali.org. Okay. So we'll click on that. I'll get to the download, and we'll click on the virtual machines. These are the pre-built virtual machines. Means it's already installed. We don't need to install anything here. We just need to extract it and import into hypervisor. That's all it is. So in the installer we will get the ISO file, then we will install it. Then in the hyper pre-built virtual machines we'll get the virtual box. Okay, so why we are choosing the virtual box? So virtual box, it's a lightweight hypervisor. Okay, like VMware, it don't consume so much memory. So that's why I will choose, as a ethical hacker I will prepare VirtualBox for any light work. Okay. So for hypervisor, we will click on the VirtualBox official website. So virtualbox.org. We'll click on the download. Okay. First, we need to download the VirtualBox. Here, click on the Windows host, and then click on the accept and download to download the extension pack of that VirtualBox. Okay. Extension pack is used to uh, enhance the VirtualBox experience. Okay. So here, so it helps in the display auto size. Okay. And also the drivers. In Kali Linux, we'll click on the VirtualBox to download the zip file of the VirtualBox. Okay. So now, actually, I have those files. You can see here, and I clicked this Windows hosts. Okay. This will download this file, which is a installer file for VirtualBox. And then after clicking the accept and download, you will get the extension pack. Okay, we'll get back to the Kali Linux here. So the VirtualBox, once we click on the VirtualBox, we'll get the Kali Linux 2026.1 VirtualBox AMD 64.7G file. Okay, so it's a 7G file. For that we will go to the 7G. Okay, so this is the 7-zip software which helps you to compress and extract a file archive. Okay, so we'll click on that. We'll click on download to download the 7G file. So just click on the 7G file. So this will start installation. Just install it, close. Okay, and then double click on the VirtualBox to install the hypervisor. Okay, so we'll click on the repair because it's already installed. So that's why we'll click on the repair. You will get the install option. Okay, so just click on that, and then we will have the VirtualBox manager here. Okay, then get back to the folder here and click on the extension pack. So this will install the extension pack. Okay, reinstall it or install it. So you will have the updated one. Okay, this completes the hypervisor installation. This is the virtual machine setup. We'll get back to the manual here. Okay, so virtual lab environment setup for cybersecurity. So we completed 50% of the work, and we'll get back to the Kali Linux setup. So right click on the Kali Linux folder and show more options and go to the 7G file, 7G option, and then click on the extract to Kali Linux 2026. So this will extract the file. So here it is extracting the VDI file, and this is the virtual machine definition file. Okay, so VBox file. So VBox is a application, so that which supports the VirtualBox. Okay, so after extracting the Kali Linux 2026, so we'll double click on the blue icon. You can see here. You can see here. So we have two files. This one is disk file, virtual disk file. This one is application. So once we double click on this blue icon, so this will first remember. So we are into the extracted folder, not into 7G. Okay, you can also get into the file. You can also open the file. Okay, but in the 7G file it will open the Kali Linux temporarily. Okay, so after extracting the file, so you will get the file directly onto your local disk, then that will connect to your hypervisor, and then you can open it and you can continue working on that. But when without extracting, you will get it into temporary files, those which are located in the app data. Okay, so that will make you use Kali Linux one time only. Okay, so that's why extraction is very important whenever you open any application. Okay, so if you want to use one time only, you can directly open it. If you want to work continuously, so after closing and uh, opening, so then you need to extract it. Okay, so right now we have double clicked on that, so we are getting the Kali Linux here. Okay, so we are getting the Kali Linux here. So this is the Kali Linux for your entire lab. So we have completed Kali Linux installation. So this is how you install the Kali Linux here. So this is how install the VirtualBox using these two files, and then using this file with along this disk. So we are installing the Kali Linux. Okay. So I have extracted it in the uh, local disk D. Okay. So wherever you have the enough space, so there you need to extract it. Okay, so now This is done. Okay. So for fourth and fifth, you need to download Metasploitable. Okay, that will be downloaded from Rapid Metasploitable 2. So this is the search term you need to search. Okay, Rapid Metasploitable 2. Okay, just click on the Rapid Metasploitable 2. So here you will get the links to download Metasploitable 2. So this Metasploitable 2 is used in fourth and fifth term works. Okay. So in the fourth term work, you need to penetrate this Metasploitable 2. So because in the fourth term work, so we have to use a virtual machine, a vulnerable virtual machine to penetrate. Okay, so this is the vulnerable virtual machine, and here we will use the Metasploit. So through the Metasploit we will exploit it and we will gain the access to the Metasploitable 2 in the learning environment. Okay, so this is how you will download the Metasploitable. We'll get back to this thing when we are encountering the fourth term work. So we'll start with the first term work. Okay, so this is the first term work, virtual lab environment setup for the cybersecurity. I'll get back to this thing. Here we have installed the first procedure. We have installed VirtualBox. So we are not installing the VMware. So this may confuse you. So this is very user friendly. That's why we have chosen the VirtualBox. Okay, here you can see that. So this is all very user friendly. So you can also prepare if you want. You can prepare the VMware also. Okay. So we have installed VirtualBox now. So download the Kali Linux VM image from official website. So we have downloaded it and we have imported into virtual machine software, that is VirtualBox. Okay. So then configuration network settings. We'll get back to the virtual machine here. So we'll right click on this, go to settings. Yes. Okay. So here we get go to the network. So this is the NAT network. It's a network address translation. So to understand this thing, so I'll get back to the CMD here. So this is the CMD of the Windows machine that we are using right now. Okay, IP config. So which shows the internet protocol configurations here. So you can see here. So I have connected to the Wi-Fi watch wireless LAN adapter area local area connection 9. So this is disconnected and here 10 is disconnected again. So we have connected to the Wi-Fi here. Okay, you can see here IPv6, IPv4. IPv4 is 192.168.1.16. Okay, so this is the IP address of this Windows machine. So this is the gateway address of the router. Okay, so this is the IP address 192.168. Something is my IP address of the Windows machine. So once we have NAT, okay, this will translate the IP address. This will translate the IP address. For example, 192. 1 minute. Okay. So So NAT, that will convert 192.168.1.10 is there, for example, that will convert that address to 10.10 dot something dot something. Okay, so this will convert this IP address. Actually, this is private IP address. This is the private IP address. Private IP address. This is also private IP address. It's not a global IP address. Okay, so this will be converted using the NAT. NAT is a address translation protocol. Okay, so because this will be converted from this to this, because to make a virtual machine safer. Okay, so once we convert the IP address from this to this, so this will make the virtual machine safer, because so we are not able to connect with the network of the virtual machine using the this address. Okay, so or else gateway of this address. So now if we make bridge adapter, so this will connect the virtual machine to the router that is connected to the Wi-Fi. Okay, so that will make the virtual machine come under that router, so which our Windows machine is also there. Okay, so for example, if we change the bridge adapter, then click enter, so then we'll discard this thing, we'll start this thing with the NAT only. Okay, so for example 192.168.10.1 is there, so of the Windows machine, then we have connected with the bridge adapter, so that will make this Kali Linux 192.168.10.2. Okay, that will connect the virtual machine under the same subnet. Okay, so that's what bridge adapter is. This is to explain the network settings in the Kali Linux only. So this is where this will be very important when it comes to the fourth and fifth experiment, because we are encountering the metasploitable. So that metasploitable should be in the bridge adapter and the Kali Linux also. So once we start the Kali Linux, here we have the login. So we'll log in with the Kali and the Kali as a password. Sorry, sorry. Actually, it's a Kali and then Kali. So log in here. So this has started the Kali Linux. So right now this is looking very small, right? So I'll go to the view here, auto resize guest display, and then we'll click again auto resize guest display. So this will make the Kali Linux adapt to the screen of the Windows machine. Now this is complete. So once we are into the Kali Linux, so we'll get to know what are these icons. Okay, so this is the internet ethernet network icon. Okay, so you can disconnect and connect whenever you have the internet issues. Okay, so this is the volume in battery, like that. So to shut down the machine, so we will have this thing, logout Kali restart shutdown. Okay, so this is to lock the Kali Linux. Again you need to enter the password. Okay, so this will start the kali linux again. Here we have the application. So this is the folder option. You can get into the any folder you want by using the GUI. Okay, so this is the browser, this is the editor, this is the editor mousepad, and this is the terminal, black one. Okay, so this will be very important here when it comes to the Linux systems. Okay, this is the terminal. So here are the applications. So you will get the recently used applications here, all applications here. In the Kali Linux, they have categorized applications into 16 main categories. Okay, so in the reconnaissance you will get all the information gathering tools. In the resource development you will get all the exploits development kits. In the initial access you will get all the uh, for example metasploit framework. So here we will get the informations also the also the payloads and the exploits to gain the access. Like that SQL map is there to gain the access in the SQL injection. So in the executions, again we will get the power exploit and the metasploit. So same to maintain the accesses. So if we are getting the accesses, then we can also improve the access to maintain the access. Okay, the persistence same like that also. These are cells. Okay, and the privilege escalation. So here we will get the win piece and the lin piece, and so piece like that. So these will get the for example, it will enumerate if you are getting the Linux exploitation and gain the access, then this will enumerate that Linux system, and then that will tell you so in which way you can escalate from normal user to higher user. So in Kali Linux you will get a normal user and the root user. In the Windows you will get a normal user and the admin user. Okay, so for every system you will get a two users. The one has full authorization, full access, full control over the operating system. So one will get the normal privileges. Depends evasion. So you can use this to change the MAC addresses of the operating systems, and then we can spoof as something else and evase the antiviruses or the routers, firewalls also. Okay, credential access. So here we have the John the Ripper, Hydra, Hashcat. So these are used to crack the passwords of the files, operating systems, or any accounts. Okay, so in the last lab, so that is the eighth one. So here there we will be using John the Ripper. Okay, so we can use the John the Ripper and the Hashcat. Hashcat will use the so John the Ripper will be used in CPU resources, and Hydra will be using it in the GUI sorry GPU, and Hashcat, that is also in the GPU and CPU. Again, discovery, it's all about information gathering, lateral movement from user to user movement, and collections. Like that, so many other categories are there. Okay, so we'll get back to the terminal here. So we'll understand how the terminal works here. So whenever we type, for example, pwd is a command to get to know path of working directory. So once we type the command, this will show the path of that working directory. For example, right now whenever we start the terminal, that will get you into the this directory. We are working on this directory. If we click ls, that is a list. Okay, so that will list all the files and directories of that folder. We are inside this directory. If we list that, so we are getting desktop, documents, downloads, music, like that. Okay, so if we want to change the current directory to any other directory, we will be using cd, that is the change directory. So we need to explicitly mention the path of the working directory or a path of changing directory, or else name of that. Okay, so for example, if we use the path, then that will take to that path. Okay, so if we use the listed name of the folder, that will take to that folder. You can see that. So cd desktop, so cd desktop will take you to the desktop folder. We can verify that. So here we are into home Kali desktop. Okay, so we were at the home Kali. Now we are into home Kali desktop. So if we use the mkdir, that which makes our directory, we can see the difference here. So this is the desktop. If I type, we'll change the settings here so that it will be easy for you to see the difference. Yes. Okay, so mkdir new. So now make directory new will create the directory. Okay, so this is created. To delete that directory, rmdir new. Okay, to change the directory, this is the command. To create the directory, this is the command. To remove the directory, this is the command, rmdir. Okay, now to create a file, touch new dot txt. This will create the file. Rm new dot txt. This will remove the file. Okay, this is the basics of the Kali Linux, how we are using the terminal. To clear the terminal, we have the clear command. So we are clearing that. So once you get into the Kali Linux, so open the terminal and then change the directory to desktop using cd desktop. Okay, so then get into the desktop. So now we will create one directory, that is mkdir lab 1, lab 1. So lab 1 is created here. Okay, so we'll get into lab 1. So this is very case sensitive, that's why I use the same alphabetic manner. So we are into lab 1 folder. We change the directory to lab 1. Okay, so like that you need to do for every terminal, every term works. Okay, in the lab 1 you don't have any that much term work. So for example, we have uname a, so that which will show you which operating system you are using, and the operating system name, and then kernel information. Okay, uname a, ipa. IPA will show you the internet protocol address. Okay, so here you can see the IPA. Now this is the LO. This is the loopback address of the Kali Linux. Loopback is a system address of the Kali Linux, any system. Okay. For example, right now loopback we have 127.0.0.1. It's nothing but 0.0.0 localhost. Okay. ETH0. So as we discussed earlier, that NAT network address translate will translate the IP address that we are connected to the 10 dot something dot something dot something. Okay. So this is the IPv4 of the Kali Linux right now. Okay, slash, it's a subnet. Don't use slash 24. So it's a subnet. You can see here 10 dot 0 dot 0 dot 2 dot 255. It's a broadcast address. This is the IPv4. Okay. So this is the IP address of Kali Linux right now. IPA completed. And ping hyphen C, this is the count. We are counting it for 4 and google.com. So ping command is used to send the ICMP protocols. Ping hyphen C 4 google.com. Whenever we have the internet issue or whenever you want to check the internet, so we will use the ping command. That will send a props to this domain or any domain you are trying to, and check availability of that connection. Okay, so you can see here, so once we enter here, so this will send the 64 bytes of ICMP packets to the domain name of the google.com. This is the domain of right now, this is the domain name we are getting for this IP address. Okay, so this is the google.com. This has a domain address. This is the domain address and it is located here. Okay, so it is sending the 64 bytes of packets to the domain name 1 2 3 4. 4 packets has been transmitted, received, and 0 packet loss. This shows availability of that domain. For example, if you choose to send only ping command without any hyphen C count, hyphen C, that's a count. Okay, so this will continuously send the props to the google.com. To end this, we will be using control C, that which stops the process. Okay, control C. So in the Windows systems, maximum 10 will be sent, then it will automatically closes the ping process. In the Linux systems, it will continuously sends the props to the domain name that you have chosen. We'll get back to the things. Sudo apt update. Sudo is a command that is used to make a normal user privileged to do some work. Okay, for example, normal user can't install something, normal user can't update, normal user can't edit some files. Those are privileged to root user. To escalate from the normal user to root user, we have a sudo super user do. Okay, if you want to update, so here we have sudo apt. Apt is a repository of the Kali Linux. So in the Kali Linux, they are using apt repository just like a Play Store. So it contains so many applications. Okay, so apt update, it contains the packages, applications, tools, so many other things. Okay, so we are updating sudo apt update. So we are updating the apt repository only. Okay. Now it is asking the Kali machine's password, that is Kali. So once you type Kali here, you will not see the any difference or any characters here. Okay. So you need to blindly enter the Kali and click enter. So this will take the things, because for the security reasons they have made the password section like this, that when in all Linux systems you can't see the password in the stars. Okay. Now uh, to make the to hide the characters length, for example, you have set the Kali Linux password to password 123, password 123. Okay. So it's a 11 characters, right? So when you type, it will show asterisk 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 11 times. So that gives the any shoulder surfer. Okay, it's a passive scanning. For example, any hacker that who is around with you, so if he sees that, he will know the length of that password. Okay, to hide that, to make a security harden, so they made it to hide itself. Okay, so here you will not see any character in stars. Okay. Now we get back to the things. Okay, so we have completed updating the Kali. Okay, this completes the first term work. So you got to know that how to install the virtual lab, and how to install the Kali Linux, how to install the how to update the apt repository. You got to know some commands also. So this completes the first term work. Now second term work. Second term work, some commands we have already discussed. Okay, so you got to know that what is the Kali Linux. Kali Linux and its significance in cybersecurity. So first objective is to introduce students to Kali Linux and its role in cybersecurity. And then we have to explore Kali Linux tools for ethical hacking and penetration testing. So we'll get back to the kalilinux.org here to know about that Kali Linux. Okay, about Kali Linux. Kali Linux, it's a penetration distribution. So as a name suggests here, so penetration is a trial and error method to get into any system. Okay, so that is made in a structured way. Okay, so what is a penetration testing distribution? Penetration test is used for right now as a ethical hacking. So we consider a safer environment to penetrate into that. For example, a thief will penetrate into a home. Okay, so by checking out what are the vulnerable points, means weakness points of the house, like that. So penetration distribution will give you the tools to check all the weaknesses of the operating systems and give you the assessments, and you will have the exploits there and to gain the access. Okay, so that's what the penetration testing is. Okay, here this penetration test, here you can see that there was a penetration test in an isolated environment where the assessment team was not able to bring in any computer. or I have access network access in or out of the target environment. In order to do the work, the first penetration testing distribution was born. Okay, so we have created a penetration testing environment, so that became a distribution. Okay, now okay, so I'll get back to the Kali Linux here. It's a open source software, so Debian based Linux distribution. So it has so many security tools. So those are categories included penetration testing, means ethical hacking, security research, forensics tools, and the reverse engineering tools. Okay, so it is equipped with 200 plus tools. So this is what the Kali Linux is, and here we already discussed that in the applications we'll get so many applications. So again in the manual you have Nmap, Wireshark, Hashcat, and the John the Ripper. Okay, checking. So in the to check the versions of the tools, so we have these commands. So if we type nmap hyphen version, this will show you the version of the nmap. Wireshark version will show you Wireshark details. Okay. So then Hashcat, it's also installed already. We don't need to install anything. It's already updated. So 7.1.2. John, John the Ripper, we have John. So this shows the John the Ripper. To check all the applications that are there in the Kali Linux, we have a command ls hyphen la. So this will list in a columns, and all la will show you hidden files also. User share will have the Kali menu, the applications that are there in the Kali menu. Okay, so if you choose to check that, then you can see all the applications that are there on the Kali Linux menu. So this completes the second.